Hello, how are you? I hope you are doing great. Welcome to my channel again. My name is Nora. I am an energy healer and a life coach with a spiritual twist. And yeah, before I start my video, I ask you to like my video and share it and subscribe and do all the things what other YouTubers ask you to do for helping me to get my content out for bigger masses of people, so that the people who need to come to me energetically, they will find me. Thank you. This video is about soulmates. Many people are asking me about soulmates, what it is to meet your soulmate, and of course I can only speak about my own experience, but I can share my story. 2019, I had a very strong urge to go to walk alone, to do a long hike. I didn't really hike before, but something inside me said that you have to go and do some hiking, and I was like, okay, like I believe this inner voice, like I really need to do it. It was very strong, and I was kind of figuring out like, okay, so where can I go hiking? And I started googling like, yeah, like pilgrimage routes, Europe, or like I didn't really know anything about that scene. And I heard the first time about the Camino de Santiago in the northern Spain. Santiago de Compostela is a city in north of Spain, and there are many old pilgrimage routes from in Europe going there. You can even start hiking from Italy, I guess, and from Germany and England, and in the end, all the routes will go to the city of Santiago de Compostela. So I started reading about this route, and I was like, oh wow, this sounds really cool. I really have to go there. And then I was like, well, when should I go? And I just like randomly picked a date. I didn't really know, I didn't really plan anything. I started to plan the trip like after I bought the flights. Immediately I started to plan the trip like maybe a week before going there. But the thing was that I knew that my higher self was telling me to go there. So I picked a route. I walked 10 days of the French route from Ponferrada until Santiago de Compostela. And what I thought it was about was that I'm there to look into myself, to make a walking meditation, to get in tune with myself, to really break some old paradigms that are holding me back. And little did I know what was going to happen. I didn't speak any Spanish at that time, so for me the route was a little bit challenging because surprisingly, even though there are people around the world, the services tend to be only in Spanish. And very quickly I encountered a group of Spanish people. It wasn't like a ready group, it was just forming like during the Camino, and we kind of started to hang out always after walking. We ended up to the same pilgrimage hostels, albergues as they call them, and had food or wine together or whatever. And so it was like a nice balance that I was walking alone 4 to 6 hours a day with my own thoughts, reflecting my life, and then I had people to share my stories with, and we kind of like learned from each other. It was very beautiful. But I was always thinking like, oh, so this is a big group of Spanish people and I don't speak Spanish, and they tend to speak Spanish all the time, and only a few of them were talking in English to me, and they didn't always remember to translate, and it was like a little bit a little bit funny that I ended up hanging out with them. But I knew that, okay, I'm gonna stick with them because there is something I feel that I need to be in this group. And then later I realized why. Because just like the previous or the last town before Santiago, like the last stop, in there many routes come together, and actually already a little bit earlier, so they are kind of gathering everything together, and then the last day of the pilgrimage is for all the routes in northern Spain, it's around the same. And there in that village or town, actually it's maybe more like a village, I think, I met my soulmate. And he is Spanish, and at that time he didn't speak any English, I didn't speak any Spanish, so we didn't really have a language to communicate. And the way I could meet this person was because of this big group of Spanish people who kind of like just took him and his friend in the bigger group, and I had time to observe this person. And how it was that there was something very familiar in this person. I could feel that there was something that I already knew. It was, even though he didn't even directly speak to me, I could see from the way this person was behaving and acting and talking that I already knew this person. And it was weird. I didn't really realize what was happening at that time. I just knew that I had this magnetic connection with that person, and we always needed someone to translate. So then we talked a little bit, and then I wanted to go to bed really early because I had my next the last walking etap was the next morning, and I arrived to Santiago, and we met there again with this big group, and also this person came to hang out with us. And on that evening we talked more and more, and with Google Translator, can you believe it? And I knew that there was something really, really happening. I felt something I have never felt before in my life. And then the next morning came, and he already had his train back to Madrid, where he's from, and I still had like a few days left because I actually walked the route quicker than I thought. And I was left in Santiago alone, and I escorted this person to the train towards Madrid. And the moment he hopped in the train, I felt like half of my heart was missing. The pain was enormous. I had never felt anything like that, not that kind of pain. And it was really, really hard for me to understand why I had such a big attachment with that person. And I called to a lady who is a very important mentor for me, and who knows a lot about stuff. And she told me that there are connections that sometimes you have to meet a person and bring something to the conclusion, and that's it. You just finish a story that already began earlier. And she said it can be something like that, or it can be something else, and you have to just figure it out what it is. So I sent a message to this person, and I wrote him that I really don't understand what is happening, but I really want to see you again, and should we meet? I have a few days before I need to go back to Finland, and if you're up for it, we can meet in Barcelona or in Madrid or wherever. And we ended up meeting in Madrid, and I went to Madrid and I spent a few days with him, and the connection just grew bigger and bigger and bigger, and I had to come to the conclusion that this is the person I have been looking for all my life. And funny thing is that he didn't want to be with any girl ever, and he kind of already had decided to live alone all his life. But after meeting me in the Camino, he had told her mother that told his mother that he had met someone truly amazing. So both of us, we kind of like came from a situation that we didn't realize what was happening, and we just had to admit that this is something bigger than we could have imagined before, let's say so. And that's how our story started, and then now we have been together almost 3 years, and I have to say that my love towards this person just grows every day more and more. And the way we are together is so easy and so respectful and so loving and so beautiful, and there is like this unconditional love and freedom for us, and we just both really want to be with each other's. And yeah, it's really funny because always before that I had been thinking like, well, I don't know if this boyfriend is good for me, or like, I don't know. And many people told me that, well, when the right one comes, you know it. And now I can say the same to you. When the right one comes, you know it. You don't have an option. Basically, the magnetism will be so strong that there is no way of ignoring that energy and that power between you. So that's my story about meeting my soulmate. And what we both realized energetically, what needed to happen is that we went both alone in this Camino. And Camino is a highly transformational trip, because you are alone, you walk, you kind of elevate your vibration many days. You become clearer and more loving and more like peaceful. So what happened for both of us, that we had to go there and walk separate routes, so that in the end, when we were in the highest point of the vibrational state, highest vibrational state in our lives, probably that was the right time to meet, because then we could see truly what the other one was. And yeah, I encourage you to keep your mind and heart open, and if you have feelings that you are not sure about someone you are sharing your life with, then take that warning seriously, and really see where that feeling is coming from, because it might be that there is someone else waiting for you and you need to meet another person, or it might be that it's a temporary thing, like in every relationship. So be honest about it, and go into your heart and explore, and you will see the answer. And if you are single and looking, I encourage you to go to places where your soul and heart tells you to go to. That's probably the place where you will meet someone truly amazing. I wish you a beautiful, beautiful day and much love. Bye for now.